Today, we have the privilege to welcome Ambassador Catherine Tai, United States Trade Representative, to the Ways and Means Committee hearing room. Ambassador Tai, I'm pleased to welcome you back to this committee for your new and very well-earned role. Your prior work in this committee uniquely positions you to understand better than most the importance of U.S. trade policy as it supports American working families and businesses. Over the past 14 months, the COVID pandemic has upended lives across this country and around the world. It exposed the fragility of our economic and health system. It has also revealed that many of us have known for quite some time, and that is that our economic and health policies have not always benefited everyone equitably. As vaccination rates increase and the world begins to reopen, we are left with an economy in need of revitalization and people in need of help. We have an opportunity to set the American economy and American workers on a better course. As you know, the Democrats on the committee have been actively working to create these policies that are inclusive, equitable, and responsive to the changing dynamics of global economics. I am committed to putting forward more informed solutions to correct inequities and ensure that all Americans are benefiting from trade opportunities. Through a trade and equity lens, we must aggressively enforce our trade agreements, ensure that our trade policies help to create good-paying, quality jobs, rebuild alliances with our trading partners to tackle the challenge of global economic and public health recoveries, confront China's unfair trade practices, human rights abuses, and growing anti-democratic influences. We need to explore new trade opportunities with like-minded countries and work to ensure that our policies promote racial equity and correct inequities. Ambassador Tai, you know better than most that the House Democrats fought hard to establish a new structure for aggressive enforcement of USMCA and to provide the necessary funding to bring strong enforcement actions. I'm very proud of these new standards that we were able to establish in USMCA, particularly the closing of loopholes in the state-to-state enforcement mechanism and creation of novel rapid response mechanisms, which I can see already appear to have occurred as part of the challenge that we offered. I was pleased with your announcement yesterday that you will use these tools to pursue alleged labor violations at a General Motors plant in Mexico. I know and hope you'll be able to perhaps briefly comment on that immediate outcome. I was very pleased with the filing of the petition by our friends in labor under the rapid response mechanism. Trade agreements only succeed if they are enforced, and I look forward to working with you to ensure aggressive enforcement of USMCA that supports workers at home and abroad. We not only need to ensure that our trading partners are playing by the rules, but that we have a responsibility to make sure that our own policies and actions are consistent with trade agreement obligations. This means that as we create new policies that are responsive to the needs of today, we must respect our international trade commitments. I'm convinced that we can pursue a bold, forward-looking policy that is in consistency with our international obligations. Done right, trade can be a powerful driver for good-paying, quality jobs in a thriving economy. We must ensure, however, that our trade policies promote human rights, high labor standards, and environmental protections. I am certainly troubled by the actions coming from China. China's use of forced labor in Xinjiang, blatant steps to suppress democratic institutions and practices in Hong Kong, alarming threats of the invasion potentially of Taiwan, and pervasive unfair trading practices that will require our immediate attention. We must be unwavering in our condemnation of these actions and use every tool available to confront destructive practices. But we should not go it alone. We should work with our allies to address the challenges we face with China, as well as steps needed to address the global economic recovery. Rebuilding trust and strengthening our alliances with Europe, Asia, Africa, and our neighbors in the Americas will be a key to our success. In addition, we must take every available opportunity to urge our trading partners to join our efforts to eradicate forced labor, combat climate change, sustain institutions and practices that support open societies and fair markets. We must reassert ourselves on the world stage, including at the WTO. Multilateral institutions provide a powerful platform to address some of these global challenges. As the U.S. begins to lead again at the WTO, I urge you to seek long-standing reform of the dispute settlement system transparency and notification obligations, special differential treatments, and subsidy disciplines. I also implore you to raise issues that have often been overlooked by the institution, namely labor, climate change, and women's economic empowerment. It is important that the WTO not only correct past mistakes, but look ahead to serve as a platform to address the needs during these times. As we work to repair our alliances both bilaterally and multilaterally, we cannot miss the opportunity to explore new trade arrangements with like-minded countries. I am especially supportive of deepening our ties with Europe and Africa and look forward to partnering with the administration in developing an approach that benefits both our interests and indeed those of our trading partners. Today's hearing allows members of this committee to hear from you directly about the administration's vision for U.S. trade policy. And equally important, this is an opportunity for you to hear from us about priorities. This conversation is a building block for requisite partnerships between Congress and the administration to create policies that benefit all Americans. Trade policy fulfills its greatest potential when it is the product of close collaboration between Congress, Democrats and Republicans, and the executive. I am immensely pleased to have someone in the top trade post who understands firsthand that Congress involvement in USMCA made a better labor agreement. And I hope to have the same level of partnership as the administration forges ahead with its agenda. Look forward to hearing from you on how we can work together to craft a trade policy that corrects the inequities of yesterday, meets the challenges of today, and anticipates the needs of tomorrow.